Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Virtual College Exploration for all West Virginia students, sponsored by the West Virginia Association of Collegiate Registrars and Admissions Officers, as well as StriveScan. Thank you for joining us. A few housekeeping announcements before we get started. You can use the Q&A button on your screen to type your questions to our presenters at any time. Your camera and microphone are off, so the panelists cannot see or hear you. This is just one of the many different sessions happening, so be sure to check out the full schedule at WVACRAO.org. The same presentation is being recorded and will be available within about a week at that same website. And with that being said, I'd like to go ahead and turn it over to our presenters.
Hey y'all, all right, so we're just gonna get our screen shared with you guys. We are Glenville State College and welcome to our virtual meeting tonight. We are so excited to be here with you guys. If you're not really familiar of where we are located in the heart of West Virginia. So if you actually take the state, you put your finger directly in the middle of it, that's where we are. It's very convenient because you're just kind of a short drive away from our bigger cities like Huntington, Charleston, and Parkersburg. So my name is Lexi and I work here in our admissions office. I am one of the admissions advisors here. Tonight I'm joined with my whole team. So we've got Ricky Butler here, we've got Larry Gwynn, and then on the screen we've got Sarah Rollins. So we all make up the admissions team here. And that map on the screen, that's actually how we kind of break down our territories. So kind of depending on where you're located is going to determine who your main point of contact will be in our office. And, you know, we understand that kind of this whole searching for a college process, it can be a little intimidating, it can be a little stressful. So what we hope to do is really take all that stress off your plate. Our job is to really help guide you in the application process and help you put you in contact with the right people. We're also joined tonight with Sherry. So she is one of our financial aid advisors. So she's going to definitely give you some inside financial aid tips and a lot of information. That's kind of what we hope this whole presentation is for you, kind of a little insider to all things Glenville State College, give you some tips for applying, tips on financial aid. So let's go ahead and get started. Ricky, if you want to go ahead.
Hey guys, I want to talk to you a little bit about our academic programs. So to start, I want to say our class sizes are typically very small. On average, they're about 16 or 18 students per classroom. That one-on-one experience with your professor that ultimately you're paying for. And your professors will know your name. You won't just be a number in the classroom. They'll really work with you. So as you can see, some of our big departments there, and within each department is various degrees and concentrations and minors. Some that's unique to us. Our criminal justice degree is actually ranked #1 in the state of West Virginia. We also have a national ranking on that as well. We're 16th in the nation. We were founded on our education degree. And so another thing that we have is a bluegrass degree. We were actually the first institution to recognize a 4-year music degree in bluegrass. So that's definitely unique to us. We actually have a bluegrass stage downtown where they have like jam sessions and the community can come in. And it's kind of like a cafe style of just like live music. And it's not just bluegrass. They'll do jazz, they'll do other genres as well. So let's talk about the professors a little bit. Most of them are all published authors, and in our business department, for instance, a lot of those professors have been CEOs in their own companies. Our fine arts department, our faculty have performed in symphonies, and one of our professors has even played in the house band in the House of Blues. If you guys like murder mysteries, in our criminal justice department, we actually have a professor that was on Murder ID channel covering a case that he was a detective for in Baltimore. So we had like a viewing party and everybody got to see that. And a great deal of our faculty are not from West Virginia, so you get all of that outside influence as well. And not only are our faculty diverse, but our students here are diverse too. And it's not just our academic programs that kind of attract that, but also our athletic programs. So I'm going to give athletics over to Larry. He's our athletic guy.
Next slide, Sarah.
There we go.
So like Ricky said, my name is Larry. I'm another admissions advisor here, or counselor, however you want to go with that route. I'm here to kind of talk about our athletic side of things. Us as a Division II school, we do give out scholarship money for both academics and athletics. The one good thing about us is our state-of-the-art areas for, like, for instance, bottom left-hand corner, we have the Waco Center. That's actually probably one of the best D2 facilities in the state of West Virginia, let alone nationwide. On top of that, we have the Ike and Sue Morris complexes out the baseball side of things. We have the indoor facility out there as well. So we do have state-of-the-art facilities. Our weight room, which is actually located inside of the Waco Center, is set up similar to kind of like a D1 aspect. So we kind of mirrored would probably be the best word to say, an Alabama setup and or a West Virginia University setup. So we do have the resources to kind of perk us up a little bit. Something I like to preach is we have the individualism of a small school, but the resources of a big school. The top left corner, you'll see some of the just the standard sports that we have here. Obviously the football, men and women's basketball, men and women's track, boxing. We actually just added wrestling, which is actually up and coming too. It's pretty popular here recently. Another thing too, we kind of incorporate not necessarily just a strict athlete campus. So we actually did bring in esports to kind of attract a different outlook on people. Whether, you know, you just want to do something competitively without obviously being a stereotypical athlete. Actually, fun fact, if you were participating in esports, you can actually earn a scholarship in that as well. Kind of just one of the uniqueness of things of us. We try to incorporate and make it feel as much home as possible. So our athletics is a big part of our campus. A lot of them are out of state, but we are trying to incorporate more in-state athletes as well. So the one thing, you know, we'll try to strive for is just trying to get that located, whether, you know, that be an in-town like Gilmer County, or you want to branch out to all the other counties in West Virginia. Like back to touch on the Waco is actually one of the newer facilities as well, but not too far along back, about 5-6 years ago. So it's pretty relatively new. And on top of that, they just kind of keep getting it incorporated up and up and up to the point to where it's honestly probably one of the best facilities, like I said, in the nation for D2. A lot of people sleep on the D2 aspect. I know we kind of get the same love as a D1. You know, when you're trying to pursue, say, a semi-professional or professional career, you have a 50-50 shot just like you would in the D1. I know to touch on the D3 side of things, so you don't get academics. I mean, you get athletics is only for D1 and D2, but for D3, if you're interested in that track, they actually do not give athletic aid, but they do kind of add on to the academic side of things. So believe that's touched on everything I need to do. So I'll send that back to Lexi.
Awesome. All right, so on our next slide, that's going to have all of our activities. So that's a question we kind of get asked a lot. I know Ricky kind of mentioned that, you know, we are a smaller school, so, you know, we kind of get that, okay, what is there for me to do? And there is a lot for you to be involved in here. I really think, and I have to give it up to our student activities crew. They go above and beyond on kind of planning events and everything. Usually we do have, you know, a typical year, we have a lot of sporting events going on. So every night there would be, you know, a basketball game, a volleyball meet, football game, and then we would have activities kind of coordinated around that. So tailgates. One of those pictures on there is our big kind of luau party we had with our Pioneer all dressed up for the luau event before the girls basketball game. So kind of not having any athletic events, our team has kind of stepped up, and so they've just kind of added on to that and made more and more events daily. So kind of with Halloween theme. We've seen a lot of that. So as you see on the screen, like our big Halloween scavenger hunt, and they did this really cool virtual escape room where you like went in and had to put on virtual goggles and you were trapped in an escape room. That was really big. They've been doing a lot of movie nights at our amphitheater. I think this showing coming up this week is going to be like It Too. So always something going on. And then kind of during the day, they do a lot of activities. So as you can see, like they've done the tie-dyeing, they've done the paint night, they've done the caricatures, taco night, personalized name tags. So what I'm saying is there's always something for you to do here, always an activity to, be a part of daily, nightly. And I think coming up, we're going to be hosting kind of a big tailgate going on at our Waco Center. Our football team's going to get to kind of do a inter-squad scrimmage that we're all really excited for, because like I said, we really haven't had that athletic aspect this year. So everyone on campus is really missing that. So we're super excited for that. And we just had our big fall bash open house. So that was actually held at the baseball and softball fields with our brand new Pioneer stage. So that was great. We got to listen to a lot of live music, have food. There was a mechanical bull that we all rode on. So always something to do. And then getting involved in campus life, we have our student athletics, obviously, but then we have all of our kind of sororities and fraternities. So definitely, if you want to get involved here, there's stuff to get involved in. So there's always something to do. And I think Sarah's going to take over kind of our next slide, kind of give you some inside tips on what you can do to apply.
All right, hi everybody. So once you apply using our online application, where I've got the website up right here on the screen for you, you can screenshot this because we've got a free waiver code for you if you're going to fill out an application after watching our presentation tonight. When it's time to pay your application fee, you just need to type in #GoPioneers, and that application is going to be totally free for you to fill out. And also, it's a non-committal application, so it doesn't mean because you applied here, you have to go here. We're just going to let you know when you're accepted, so it's on your list of options when you're choosing your college coming up. And so after you apply, you're going to directly hear from one of us here in this presentation. We'll probably send you a text message, but we might also call or email and let you know what we're missing from you. So some of the things we will need, we're going to ask you first for your high school transcripts if you didn't send those to us. And right now, since you haven't graduated, it's going to be an unofficial high school transcript. And that just means it doesn't have your graduation date on it because you don't have your final grades from your final classes. And so we will need both the official and unofficial, but before you can get your acceptance letter, we have to have that unofficial high school transcript from you. If you're taking dual enrollment courses, you might be taking like college English or college algebra from an institution close to your high school. We're going to need the transcripts from that college to let us know what grade you got in that class, because that's going to help you when we're looking at GPA and future scholarships, which Sherry will talk about later as well. We'll ask for your immunization records, and what we're looking for is measles, mumps, and rubella, that you've had 2 doses of that. And we just ask for that so that everyone's equal across the board, and we can't let you take classes or live in the dorm room without that immunization record. And you're going to fill out a housing application. So everyone automatically has to live in the dorms unless they apply to live off campus. And there are some qualifications that you have to meet, and you're welcome to contact one of us if you're specifically interested in that. And a great thing about Glenville right now is that we're waiving the ACT and SAT requirement because of our adaptation to COVID-19. We know a lot of those test centers are getting closed. So the ACT and SAT is waived at Glenville, and we found out that it's waived for the NCAA as well. So you're safe to not take it if you don't get a chance to. But the reason you should try to take it if you can is because that will help us look at your GPA and your test scores to think about scholarships, and you might get put in a class that has an extra lab if we don't have test scores. But we do offer the residual ACT here at Glenville, and it's $50. All you would have to do is take the English and math portion of the test, and that can help you get out of some of those lab courses if you didn't get a chance to take it.
Hi guys, so I'm going to start really quick going over some basics. So FSA ID is going to be the first thing that you're going to need. If you don't already have one, then we're going to talk about the FAFSA. So for your FSA ID, you're going to go to that website down in the bottom left-hand corner of your screen right now, which is studentaid.gov. And pretty much that's where you're going to do everything that you're going to need to do for the FSA ID, FAFSA, and all of that. That's where you're going to go. So once you get there, you'll go to click to log in, and then you're going to create an FSA ID. For that FSA ID, if you don't already have one, you're going to need your social security number, you're going to need your date of birth, you're going to need an address, cell phone number, and an email address. So you will need one, and your parent will need one. If your parent has already had college aid before, then they may already have an FSA ID. And if they forgot what it is, that's okay. They can update it and update their password. So once you have your FSA ID and your cell phone number and your email address are verified, I do want to make a note. Your email address, you want to make sure that you do not use your K-12 email address when setting up your FSA ID. So if you don't have another email address, then it's very easy and free to set that up. The reason that we recommend not using your K-12 is because once you graduate high school, they're going to turn that email off, and you're not going to be able to recover your password using that email address if you forget it. So once your FSA ID is created, you're going to go and you're going to complete the FAFSA. So when you go, if you have not done that before, you're going to click on Start New. And once you get in there, you're going to need 2 years prior taxes and income information. So if you are completing the 21-22 school year FAFSA, which opened on October 1st, then you're going to need the 2019 income from your family. It's going to be you if you worked in 2019 and your parent. That your parents are going to be whichever biological parent you live with. If they are married or remarried, it needs to be your biological father or stepfather, stepmother, whoever it is that you live with. That's whose information needs to go on there. If you live with a grandparent or your grandparent, aunt, uncle, someone else has custody of you besides your parent, please reach out, because you would not put anyone other than your biological parent and step parent on the FAFSA for income information. So please reach out to your financial aid offices. We are in the office every day, Monday through Friday, from 8 to 4. You can email, you can call us, leave a voicemail, we'll get back to you. So there are exceptions. As a general rule, it doesn't matter if you turn 8 years old and you move out, it doesn't matter. According to the Department of Education in the United States of America, you are a dependent of your parent until you are 24 years old. So even though you may support yourself and you may live on your own, we still got to have that parent information. Like I said, there are other cases that would not happen. So once you get through the FAFSA, you want to make sure that on the FAFSA, you put our school code if you're coming to Glenville, which even if you decide not to come to Glenville, what you want to do is you want to make sure that you put any school that you're looking at, you want to make sure that you add them to the FAFSA, because that way when you go and you tour and you talk to them, where you talk to us, you can make sure that we are getting accurate information to you as far as an estimated financial aid package. So our FAFSA code, school code, is on your screen there at 003813. That code, you can use that code, or if you forget it, screenshot this screen, and that's a great idea. If not, you forget it, you can search by the state, you can search by the school. So what the FAFSA is going to do, once it's signed and submitted by you and a parent, it is going to generate what's called an EFC. So that's your expected family contribution. That is what the Department of Education expects that you and your family can contribute to your education within a year. That's a dollar amount. So what it is, and that does not mean that that is how much aid you get. So what that means is that your family can contribute, theoretically, that amount of money towards your education in a year. So once that number comes to us, we take what's called cost of living, or cost of attendance, your cost of attendance. Sometimes that's called a budget. They're interchangeable terms. So we will take the budget, we'll subtract that EFC number from the budget or the cost of attendance, and that's going to give us your unmet needs. So that's going to give you approximately how much aid that you would need to come to Glenville in order to be able to pay for your school and have living expenses as well. So some of the resources that you have for financial aid, you have loans. There are federal, there's federal loans. You have unsubsidized. I cannot speak this evening, guys. My tongue keeps getting tired. I'm so sorry. We have subsidized loans. Those loans do not draw interest while you are enrolled at least half time. The subsidized is a need-based, so it's going to be based on your EFC. The unsubsidized loan does draw interest from the time it hits your account until it's paid off. So unsubsidized loans is not need-based. Basically, you have to complete your FAFSA and then any required paperwork after that, and then you would be eligible for some unsubsidized loans. So, and after those two basic loans that you're going to be offered, you may be eligible for an additional unsubsidized loan or a Parent Plus loan. You can only have one or the other of those. The additional unsubsidized is a loan in your name. The Parent Plus loan is going to be a loan in your parent's name, but it comes to us for your education. So the next step after those two would be a private lender. So those are going to be, there's dozens of them out there. If you're looking at a private loan, you just want to go and Google or give us a call. We have a list of lenders that we work with most often. Some other things, some other types of aid. Best types of aid is going to be your free money. So loans are loans and you have to pay those back. You're required to pay those back. Scholarships and grants, that's free money. That's money that's going to come directly to you. Excuse me. So here I go again. So scholarship application at Glenville State College consists of your application to the school, your high school unofficial transcript, and your ACT or SAT scores. Those three things combined are your application to all of the scholarships that we have here on campus as an incoming freshman. That includes our merit scholarship, which is a basic matrix. You have your GPA and your ACT or SAT score, and those two numbers will determine how much merit-based aid you're eligible for. Our other scholarships are named scholarships. You will find a whole list of them on our website at glenville.edu under financial aid. So one of the things that I like to talk about is how incredibly affordable we are here at Glenville. So you might go to another school and they're going to offer you a huge financial aid package, lots and lots of money. But when you get down to it, what you're offered, you have to subtract that out from what's actually the cost of going to school there. And while we a lot of times cannot offer the same amounts as some of the bigger schools, our cost is way lower. So in the end, you're probably way better off with us than you would be with someone else, just because our costs are lower. And so you end up having to owe less. You can see the cost on the screen there for in-state and out-of-state per semester. Super, super affordable. Please ask me any questions. If you have FAFSA questions, if you have scholarship questions. Couple of things that I like to tell all students. We have CFWV, that is the College Foundation of West Virginia. That's where you're going to apply for the Promise Scholarship. They also have on there a scholarship finder. So you would put in a profile and they'll match you with things that you're eligible for. Another one that is just for West Virginia students. Another one is going to be, FastWeb, and that is national. FastWeb has an app that you can put on your phone. Same thing, you build a profile, you can swipe one.
All right, everybody. Thank you guys for being here with us. I'm not quite done yet. I'm still going to get to your questions and answers in the chat. But before that, I wanted to remind you that our campus is open. And so we're taking visits right now. We can schedule you a personal visit with your family, and you and your guests can come and get a personal tour, meet with your admissions counselor, meet with the department at the with whatever you're planning to major. And if you're an athlete, you can also meet up with your coach and tour our sports facilities. We also have a Twitter. It's down there in the bottom of the screen, GSC Admissions 1. We post there almost daily and especially give you lots of information about what we have coming up so that you can stay in the right timeline. So like if you're thinking of enrolling for spring, then our scheduling is coming up soon, and we're posting all about that on our Twitter, and we'll do that for the fall as well. So I'm going to see if I can answer some questions in the chat. The first question is, I got a box of goodies and also applied on the 17th, and wondering when I would hear about my application. So depending on when we get your application, it could take up to 5 business days before we could get a chance to see it and find out what documents were missing from you, like that last screen I showed you. And I'm glad you got the box of goodies, which reminds me, anybody who asks a question in the chat tonight is going to get a box of goodies. We have boxes with all kinds of GSC swag, and we've been sending those out. So anybody who asks a question tonight is going to get that box. So it could be up to 5 business days before you get a text or call from one of us. And if you are curious about your application, it's been more than 5 days, feel free to give our office a call or send one of us an email. Let's see. What is Glenville's 4-year graduation rate? So that's a really good question. I went to Glenville, and an interesting thing is that I was in the music department, and it was kind of common knowledge that we would be getting out of there in 5 years instead of 4 years, and that's kind of normal. But in different departments, they are getting out in 4 years, and it really just depends on how many classes you take per semester and how well you pass your classes. But one of my professors always said 15 to finish, which if you can take 15 credit hours per semester, then you're going to get through the program in 4 years. Let's see. So we've got those 2 questions answered, but if you want a GSC swag box, I'd love to see your question. What is the average cost of housing per year? Yeah, so we have 3 different dorms here at Glenville. We've got Goodwin Hall, which is more like your standard what you think of when you think of a dorm room. It's you and a roommate, and you have a bathroom that you share with another room that's them and a roommate. Or in Goodwin, that's a double, or you could get a single room where you have your own room, you share a bathroom with someone else that has their own room. And our second option is called Pioneer Village. And so that's more of apartment style living, where you and 4 other people share a common room, and you all have your each own private room. And we especially put athletes in Pioneer Village because it's right across the street from our Waco Center. So they need to be there for practices, and that's kind of more convenient for them. And we do like to house members of each group together, especially this year during COVID. People have been in cohorts, and that's been really helpful for us. And then our third housing option is called Riverfront Residence, and it's also kind of apartment style where you have a roommate and you have your own bathroom. And those cost anywhere from $2,000 to $3,000 added into your tuition, depending on which room you're in, if it's a single or a double, and those kind of things. Coming back to the chat. What percentage of freshmen return for sophomore year? That's a great question. And while I can't give you exact percentages, although I wish I could, that's a good thing I want to look up to know. What we have going on right now is called this, one of our psychology professors actually has been doing this color code system and doing the research and changing around curriculum at our school throughout the whole academic departments to find classes that freshmen are going into at the same time, like 2 red classes. And if you're in those 2 classes at the same time, then his research is showing that you're less likely to pass and therefore not come back next year if you're in 2 red classes at the same time. So about 3 years ago, based on his research, which is ongoing, but based on the research he already had, we're doing our best not to put new freshmen in 2 red classes at the same time, at least for the first year. And that's been a great way we have helped people feel more successful, so you can keep going and you're not wasting your money taking classes over and over again. But there was something else I wanted to say about that. That's a really good question. Okay, do I have anybody that has any more questions, or were there any of those questions I didn't quite answer well enough? I'd be happy to expand on any of that. Hi. We have been having some internet difficulties, so that's why, yeah, and that's why we wanted to make sure we had 2 separate computers presenting. But just to catch up our panelists, we had 4 questions so far. They were all really good questions, and I wanted to see. Yes, I did tell them about the swag box, and one of our participants tonight got their swag box, and they applied, and they were curious how long until they hear about their application.
Awesome.
But yeah, we've talked about all that, and unless anybody else has any questions, we're pretty good. And but you panelists, you're welcome to add any last words if you like before we end it out.
I guess I would just like to give you advice and say that kind of the best thing that you could do now is to definitely come visit our campus. You can actually go, I'm sure Sarah already said, like, follow that link, sign up, but the kind of perfect example, this technology stuff and this whole virtual thing, you know, we would really love to have you on campus in person, be able to talk to you face to face, show you our beautiful campus, put you in contact with our professors, let you pick their brain about their departments, you know, come see our 300 acres of college farm, where our students get to hike, and our shooting range, our golf course. Come see the Waco Center for yourself. So it just doesn't do it justice, and it's really hard to kind of share everything that makes us so great kind of through this little screen, especially when, you know, we kind of get cut off in the middle of it. So please, like, come visit us. You know, we're open. And then also you can follow us on our Twitter. Like, we post a lot of our events on there. We're going to be posting probably our next open house that we're going to have. So yeah, follow us on Twitter, get some information. Hopefully we gave you a lot of tips for applying and financial aid. So we really appreciate you guys kind of hanging in there with us and listening to everything we have. And you know, you can go back on our slide. You can definitely reach out to any of us. Like I said, that's kind of what we're here for. If you have any kind of questions about applying or what you need to do, that's what we're here for, and we'll help you out.
I'd like to add just one more thing real quick. If you are enrolled in a dual enrollment class through Glenville, please file your 2021 FAFSA. If you are Pell eligible, then your high school dual enrollment classes would be free for you. We are the only college in the state of West Virginia that is allowed through the Department of Education and an experimental site initiative that they are performing at this time. We're the only college in the state of West Virginia that allows high school students to access their Pell funds while they are still enrolled in high school. So please reach out to your counselors. If we are already in your schools, please reach out to Rachel Clutter or myself, somebody here on campus, for the dual enrollment classes for this current school year. You would need to do your 2021 FAFSA if you're a dual enrollment student for the current school year, or a 21-22 FAFSA for next fall. So if we're also in our financial aid office doing virtual FAFSA workshops currently, we currently have 2 scheduled coming up this week. Please contact your counselor and ask them to contact us to set that up if you're not already scheduled with one. It's going to be something new. We're going to knock this out using Teams through the school system this week. So by all means, please reach out to your high school counselor, reach out to myself, reach out to anybody here on campus, especially this awesome admissions team that you guys have here. I don't know if there will be any more questions for me. I got kind of cut off there at the end, but I was wrapping it up anyway, so I think we're good.
I do have one thing. If you guys are kind of up in the air about what you want to study, kind of touch on what Lexi said. I don't know if Sarah might have some questions about that too. Come to campus, talk to some of our professors, chat with some of us, because all of us are each in here in our office is each unique. All of us had a different major, touched on different areas in all of our departments. And I mean, we have the resources here for you. We're probably one of the safest campuses nationwide, especially now with all the protocols going on with COVID. So feel free to, request a time, come on down a tour. We'll welcome you with open arms. We'll get some of our student workers to take you around, if not one of us take you around, and we'll get you in there with those departments. Say you're kind of stuck between land resources and CJ. I mean, we can get you in there, see who you can get a best fit with. Our goal here is to make it feel as much at home and to let you grow as much as possible. So you have to take that initiative to kind of get out and reach out to kind of let us help you.
That's Larry.
That's Larry.
Well, there are no more questions.
No more questions. All right. Well, thank you guys. Go Pioneers.
All right, thank you everyone for joining us. Glenville, you did such a great job. Everyone, when you close this window, there will be a link to a very quick 4-question survey. We'd appreciate any feedback you can give on that. Also, once again, this is just one of the many sessions that is being hosted, so please be sure to sign up for additional sessions and check those out at WVACRAO/student access. And then in about a week, you'll be able to find the sessions recording on that same website. So everyone enjoy your evening.